When you look at your life right now, the first thing I want you to confront is this. What are you actually doing with the life you have in your hands today? Not the life you wish you had, not the life you admire in someone else, not the life you hope will miraculously change one day. I'm talking about the life you are breathing, living, and walking in at this very moment. One of the most devastating losses in the human experience is not the end of life. The real tragedy is living every day without direction, without intention, without direction, waking up busy but going nowhere, active but unproductive, moving constantly yet never advancing. I've come to realize that far too many people are pleading for things they were meant to plan for, asking the universe for what's already been placed in their hands but never organized. The reality is simple. Without a plan, progress will always remain a wish. Let me say something that's worth burning into your memory. Nothing meaningful in existence was created without a purpose behind it, and no purpose was ever fulfilled without some form of structure. Before an architect designs a skyscraper, they sketch the entire skyline. Before an engineer builds a bridge, they map out the terrain. Before a composer writes a symphony, they outline the melody. Before humanity built civilizations, someone imagined the blueprint of a city. Planning isn't just an action, it's the evidence of intention. And if you were designed with intention, then planning is meant to be a natural part of your life. A plan is the pathway that leads your purpose into reality. Purpose is your destination. Vision is the mental picture of that destination. But planning is the route that turns, the steps, the process that moves you from where you stand to where you are destined to arrive. Albert Einstein once said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. In other words, clarity must precede execution. Your plans show the clarity of your purpose. No one is obligated to support or bless a wish, a daydream, or a vague idea floating in your imagination. The world responds to structure. Life responds to direction. Think about this. You can hold a seed in your hand and believe it contains a forest. You can meditate over that seed. You can speak positive affirmations over it. You can treat it with the highest reverence. But unless you prepare soil, create a system of watering, protect it from harmful conditions, and commit to nurturing it, that seed will remain exactly what it is, potential with no future. Desire does not replace discipline. Passion does not replace planning. Enthusiasm does not replace execution. Many people desire change, but desire without a plan becomes disappointment. Movement does not equal progress. You can sprint on a treadmill for hours and never get 1 inch closer to the next city. Your legs might be working, but your life isn't advancing. Activity can create the illusion of progress while keeping you in the same place. Progress is movement with direction, motion that is tied to a destination. Without a plan, all you have is motion energy without aim, effort without results, time without transformation. Let me share something that reshaped my understanding of how destiny works. Life rarely hands you progress, it hands you opportunities, instructions, ideas, and blueprints. It gives you pieces. It is your plan that assembles those pieces into progress. As Winston Churchill said, plans are of little importance, but planning is essential. Planning is not about predicting every outcome. It's about preparing your mind, your habits, and your structure for what you want to create. Imagine someone saying, I want success, yet they have no strategy, no outline, no steps. That's like a sailor wanting to reach a distant shore while refusing to study the map, adjust the sails, or even leave the harbor. A ship that never leaves the dock cannot be guided. In the same way, a life without a plan cannot be directed. The absence of planning invites confusion, stress, and frustration. Most people are not drowning because they lack potential. They are drowning because they never turned potential into a plan. Purpose begins as an internal spark, but planning is what turns that spark into a flame. You chart the course and life responds by opening the pathway. You outline the structure and opportunities begin to attach themselves to that structure. You write the steps and your decisions begin aligning with those steps. A life without planning is like a house built without measurements, unstable, unpredictable, and destined to collapse under the weight of its own carelessness. Now hear this. The single most significant distinction between those who achieve and those who merely imagine is not intelligence, not background, not connections, and not talent. It is their commitment to planning. Planning takes dreams and transforms them into tasks. Planning converts ideas into actionable steps. Planning turns potential into performance. People often think poverty is the lack of money, but true poverty is the lack of plans. Because a well-planned mind will eventually attract resources, connections, and opportunities. A person with a detailed plan will advance further than a talented person with no direction. Let's define this so clearly that it removes every excuse. A plan is a documented strategy for achieving a specific outcome. If it's not written down, it's not a plan, it's a hope. If it's not broken into steps, it's not a plan, it's a fantasy. If it has no sequence, no timeline, no structure, no accountability, then it's not a plan, it is imagination. As Benjamin Franklin said, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Writing forces clarity. Clarity produces structure, and structure produces progress. Most people are overflowing with dreams, they just never organize them. They let ideas float around in their minds without giving them a framework to grow. That's why so many visions die untouched. A dream without a plan is a dream destined to remain in the realm of someday. And someday is not a date. Someday never arrives. Planning is the birthplace of achievement. Planning is the soil where greatness takes root. Planning is the container that holds your potential until it matures. Many people are filled with ideas but lose their destiny because they have no structure to carry those ideas into reality. I've traveled the world and observed that most people are not waiting for the right moment. Life is simply waiting for them to develop a plan. People say, I want a breakthrough, but they haven't prepared for what happens after the breakthrough. They say, I want a promotion, yet they haven't planned how to grow their skills. They say, I want financial increase, yet they haven't planned how to handle the money they currently mishandle. Life will never release more into hands that have not proven they can organize what they already have. Planning is the evidence of maturity. Planning is the demonstration of responsibility, and responsibility always attracts opportunities. Every major transformation, personal or historical, began with a plan. Thomas Edison mapped experiments that led to thousands of inventions. Leonardo da Vinci sketched detailed diagrams long before his creations came to life. The Wright brothers outlined every angle and measurement of their aircraft before it ever left the ground. Steve Jobs crafted the product roadmap that shaped entire industries. Greatness is never accidental. It is structured, intentional, organized, and strategic. Let me slow down for a moment, because some of you listening have been stuck in the same place for years. You blamed circumstances. You blamed people. You blamed timing. But the truth is, you lacked a plan. Without a plan, there can be no measurable progress. Life rewards the intentional, not the casual. Life responds to structure, not sentiments. Hope is useful, but hope without structure becomes heartbreak. Planning is the starting point of dominion. Dominion means control, order, strategy, and direction. You cannot control what you cannot organize. You cannot manage what you cannot structure. You cannot lead what you cannot plan. That's why the most beautiful gardens are not accidents, they are organized environments maintained by deliberate care. Order produces progress, and planning produces order. Planning disciplines your behavior. It organizes your time. It arranges your priorities. It protects your energy. It manages your resources. It shapes your decisions. It reduces confusion. It separates what is important from what is merely urgent. Planning turns years into progress instead of regret. A plan is a guide for your life, giving your days direction instead of leaving your future to chance. And let me tell you, life is not gentle with those who fail to plan ahead. The world rewards completion, not intention. And completion is the offspring of planning. You may wonder why many people avoid planning. I've identified 4 major reasons. First, fear because planning confronts reality. Second, ignorance because no one ever taught them how to plan effectively. Third, laziness because planning requires mental effort. Fourth, comfort because planning disrupts complacency. But anything you refuse to confront continues to control you. Anything you refuse to organize eventually collapses. Planning takes seasons and converts them into opportunities. Even a good season becomes wasted without structure. Success without planning eventually leads to failure. People pray for opportunities, but opportunities can overwhelm a person who is unprepared. Planning builds capacity for the future. It prepares you for what you say you want. One day I was studying how elite athletes train. They don't wait for championships to prepare. They plan their nutrition, sleep, training cycles, and mental conditioning months in advance. Their success is not luck, it is structure. As Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. That is the essence of planning. And remember this, procrastination is the silent killer of potential. Planning is its greatest enemy. Procrastination delays destiny. Planning accelerates it. When you plan, you eliminate procrastination before it destroys your chances for progress. Without a plan, tomorrow becomes the excuse for today's inaction. With a plan, today becomes the launch pad for opportunity. Let me make this clear. Some of you need to take a seat and map out your life. You need a plan for your finances, a plan for your relationships, a plan for personal growth, a plan for your career, a plan for your health, a plan for your time, a plan for your business. You cannot manage what you do not design. If you leave your life to chance, chaos will be your companion. Success is never accidental. Progress is never automatic. Growth is always intentional. Achievement requires design. Let's talk about vision for a moment, because vision and planning are inseparable. Vision is the image, planning is the path. Vision motivates you, planning guides you. Vision sparks dreams, planning produces action. Vision promises, planning delivers. If you have vision without planning, frustration will dominate your life. If you have planning without vision, confusion will rule. But when vision meets planning, transformation occurs. As Napoleon Hill once said, a goal is a dream with a deadline. Notice the link. Without a clear plan, even the most vivid dreams remain unrealized. Plans succeed through diligence, not imagination. Not the dreams of the idle, not the chatter of talkers, not the fantasies of the lazy, but the consistent, disciplined, focused, daily efforts of those who commit. A plan you ignore is merely entertainment. A plan you fail to execute is a lie you tell yourself. Now hear this. Life sets the stage, but you must script your steps. Opportunities are prepared, but you must prepare your response. Potential exists, but you must provide the structure. The future rewards those who design their actions, not those who wait for miracles. As Peter Drucker wisely said, plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. When you plan, you are essentially predicting your future through action. Think about someone like Elon Musk. He imagined colonizing Mars, but it was his systematic plans, rocket prototypes, engineering timelines, testing schedules that turn vision into reality. Purpose without planning is powerless. Destiny without planning is delayed. Progress without planning is impossible. Planning is an act of respect for your potential. Planning is the discipline of participating in creation. When you plan, you honor the life you've been given. You nurture your gifts. You structure your ambitions. You create order in the chaos. Planning is the mirror of intelligent design. As Benjamin Franklin put it, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Many of you have been hoping for progress, waiting for doors to open, praying for luck. but life waits on preparation. Your future aligns with the effort you invest in planning. The world belongs to planners. History belongs to planners. Progress belongs to planners. Leaders plan. Achievers plan. Winners plan. To succeed, you must sit down with your dreams, your skills, your resources, and construct a strategy. Until you plan, your potential remains dormant. Your purpose remains unclaimed. Your destiny remains unbuilt. Make a choice that from this moment forward, your life will be intentional, structured, strategic, and planned. Once you have a plan, progress becomes unstoppable. Remember this always. No plan, no progress, no exception. Planning is not merely writing down goals. It is the discipline of controlling tomorrow through today. It is taking authority over uncertainty by defining what must occur before it occurs. You do not step into the future hoping things will turn out well. You enter directing the outcome. Planning demands foresight, insight, and oversight. Foresight allows you to see what lies ahead. Insight allows you to understand it. Oversight allows you to manage it. Without planning, the future remains a mystery. With planning, the future becomes a strategy. Life does not respond to need, it responds to order. Everyone has needs, but only those who design a response experience transformation. Many cry for progress while their lives are chaotic. Confusion cannot create advancement. Structure creates results. Planning restores order. Planning aligns your life with the natural laws of success. Planning is not a one-time task. It is a lifestyle. You plan daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. You adjust, refine, and improve continuously. Leaders like Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, and Steve Jobs are constantly planning. They never drift, because drifting leads to disaster. Planning leads to destiny. Planning is stewardship. You have been entrusted with time, talent, relationships, and resources. Effective management requires planning. When you organize what you have, you attract more. Planning increases your territory, your influence, and your impact. Look at how innovators work. Before launching a startup, they analyze markets, map resources, and create systems. Structure precedes expansion. Without structure, the miracle has no place to land. Planning creates containers for your blessings. You cannot expect abundance without first preparing for it. You cannot expect growth without first designing the process. Planning is the seed, preparation is the magnet of favor. Progress is measured not by speed, but by adherence to plan. A life without planning confuses movement for achievement. You may be busy, but without direction, you are accelerating failure. Planning ensures your mission. Planning makes you efficient, purposeful, and impactful. Consider architecture. No engineer builds a skyscraper by improvisation. The foundation comes first, walls second, roof last. Every element is measured, ordered, and constructed according to blueprint. Your life is your greatest structure. Without a solid plan, your foundation will crumble under pressure. Storms reveal the unprepared. As Leonardo da Vinci observed, a well-spent day brings happy sleep. Planning ensures every day contributes to your growth. Planning protects you from regret. Many age without improving, growing older without advancing. Time passes, life does not progress unless you plan. Planning transforms hours into development, weeks into skill, months into mastery, and years into legacy. It may fail, but failure is far less likely when your life is designed intentionally. Planning allows you to act instead of react. An unplanned life is constantly responding to circumstances. A planned life directs circumstances. Potential is everything you can become, but it remains dormant without a plan. Every seed has potential, but only the seed placed in the right environment with proper care and timing grows into a tree. Planning provides that environment. Purpose tells you why, vision tells you what, faith tells you who, discipline tells you why, vision to one, but planning answers how. Planning bridges all elements of success. Trust alone does not replace planning, it magnifies the need for it. Faith without a structure is hope without result. Planning is faith expressed through action. The universe gives you opportunity, you create the pathway. You receive a vision, you design the steps. You discover your calling, you structure your execution. Preparation meets opportunity. Influence follows those who plan. Excellence emerges from planning. Efficiency is the fruit of planning. Creativity thrives within a structure. Every great leader, every innovator, every successful individual turned vision into reality through planning. Without it, talent is wasted, ideas remain dormant, and destiny is delayed. Leadership thrives on planning. You cannot be an effective leader with a chaotic life. A disorganized leader produces confusion in those they guide. Planning brings clarity, and clarity attracts people. Let me share another revelation. Planning is the discipline of defining seasons. If you fail to distinguish your seasons, life will scramble your timing. Every season requires a unique approach. There's a season to plant, and a season to build, and a season to rest. A season to learn, and a season to rest. A season to save, and a season to invest. Mixing your seasons sabotages progress. Planning keeps life aligned. Consider this: the difference between the wealthy and the poor is not love, luck, or talent, it's planning. The difference between those who advance and those who remain stagnant is not opportunity, it's planning. The difference between dreamers and achievers is not desire, it's planning. Planning separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Look at historical leaders. Winston Churchill prepared meticulously before battles. Napoleon Bonaparte mapped strategies before each campaign. They understood that destiny is executed through deliberate design. Their progress was not by chance, it was by the precision of planning. You were not created to drift. You were not designed to guess your way through life. Your life was intended for structure, intentionality, and order. As Leonardo da Vinci said, a well-spent day brings happy sleep. Planning converts chaos into accomplishment. From this moment, commit. Sit down with yourself, your potential, and your vision, and draft a plan. Without it, your future is exposed. Without it, your progress stalls. Without it, your purpose remains unrealized. Decide today that you will not just dream, you will plan. As you plan, you progress. As you progress, you achieve. And as you achieve, you fulfill your purpose. Planning is how you cooperate with the laws of success. Nature favors structure. The universe rewards preparation. Miracle and opportunity meet the one who organizes. Think of the logistics behind any great event. Before Apple launched the iPhone, teams meticulously designed production, supply chains, and distribution networks. Structure preceded the impact. Planning precedes every breakthrough. Many today pray for blessings without organizing their efforts. That is not faith, it is presumption. A plan is a prophecy you write with your own hands. It declares to the future, I am coming and I am prepared. Most people fail because they operate emotionally, not intentionally. Inspiration alone does not move you forward, implementation does. Success is a partnership between potential and action. God may provide the vision and opportunity, but you are responsible for planting, cultivating, and nurturing it. Potential without planning becomes wasted energy. Some of you have enormous visions, businesses, books, mentoring thousands, traveling, creating impact, but feel overwhelmed. Where do I start, you ask? Start with a plan. A plan divides the impossible into actionable steps. It bridges the gap between idea and reality, between calling and manifestation. When the Wright brothers aimed to fly, they didn't just dream, they designed and tested wing structures, engines, and prototypes. Their plan protected their purpose. Without a plan, your destiny is vulnerable. Your potential leaks. Your time drifts. Activity without strategy leads to stagnation. If your life isn't moving forward, it is not because opportunity stopped, it's because planning stopped. Progress halts where planning halts. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Waiting for the perfect moment ensures inaction. Start with what you have now. Begin where you are. Use the resources available. Action meets discipline, not idle dreaming. A plan creates accountability. Without one, growth is immeasurable. Imagine running a marathon without a finish line. How would you know you are improving? That is how many live exerting effort without direction. A plan sets milestones, rhythm, momentum, and focus. It helps you say yes to the essential and no to distractions. Writing your plan transforms your dream into a tangible map. As Antoine de Saint-Exupéry said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. A map guides, corrects, stabilizes, and prevents drift. For finances, create a financial roadmap. For relationships, design a relationship strategy. For career growth, map your learning and execution. Daily discipline determines destiny. Nothing changes until something is intentionally designed. The difference between dreamers and achievers is planning. Dreamers talk, achievers schedule. Dreamers imagine, achievers execute. Dreamers hope, achievers commit. Planning honors your own destiny. It respects your gifts. It communicates to the universe that you are serious about your potential. Daily planning is the foundation of success. Show me your daily routine, and I can forecast your future. Every high achiever, whether following faith or not, has mastered planning. Prayer or intention is not enough. Planning is what translates vision into action. Prayer may open the door, planning walks you through it. Without a plan, time becomes your master instead of your servant. You must prepare yourself to receive your future. Destiny is not random, it is intentional. The most impactful people in history had a plan. Joseph anticipated famine. Daniel structured his daily disciplines. Nehemiah mapped rebuilding strategies. Paul organized his journeys. Even Jesus followed a schedule, knowing when to teach, when to move, and when to rest. Your life cannot progress on hope alone. Preparation precedes miracles. Look at the widow with oil. She was guided with steps to multiply her provision. Without planning, there is no progress. Examine areas of your life that remain stagnant. Ask, do I have a plan here? Not a hope, not a wish, not just prayer, but a concrete plan. Heaven responds to structure. Order attracts opportunity. Organization multiplies outcomes. Start with the next step. Don't worry about the entire journey. Build success one step at a time, one day at a time. Imagine where you could be in 12 months if every day were intentional rather than random. Spiritual growth, finances, relationships, purpose, all transformed through structured planning. Your future is not waiting on chance. It is waiting on chance. It is waiting on your plan. Present your strategy and the universe will empower it. Declare today, I refuse to drift. I refuse to waste another day without intention. I refuse to allow another year to pass without a plan. From this moment, I will plan so I can progress. Remember, no plan, no progress. But with a plan, all things become possible.